Okay. And 3, 2, 1. It is a breezy, rainy evening in the south end of the UK. But we are here. It is Sunday evening where I am, Sunday afternoon in America, and I am joined by Easy. Hello, Easy. How are you? How's your week been?
How's, I'm doing good. Looking out the window, it is overcast here, a little chilly. We're actually supposed to get some rain, a pretty big storm coming in, so we'll see. We could use the rain here. Actually, California hasn't gotten hardly any. The week, however, has been crazy exciting. We had a alpha launch party for Cypher, which is a project that I'm working with, bringing hip hop to the blockchain. So inside of Crypto Voxels, as well as in our Discord, we were able to throw a great party there and have a rap battle. So freestyle rap battle. People were able to get on the mic and flow to some of the beats that our beat maker makes, and we had like half an ETH rewards. So 3 people got to walk away with some ETH in their pocket just for showing up and spitting some rhymes. So that was super exciting, really fun, and we're going to be doing more of those. And that was just Saturday night. Kind of, took a little time off, which I don't hardly ever do, from being online yesterday. So that was kind of nice, just a little bit of decompression time. And then let's see, it must have been in the very wee hours of the morning, saw, kind of, there was a lot of action notifications coming in, and I saw that there was a big hack at Roll. So social currency issuer Tri-Roll, who issues whale token, lads, mork, some pretty big tokens. They were one of the earlier platforms, and I guess what happened was they have tokens that they give to their issuers on a certain basis, and it somewhat depends excuse me, on how much you use. So maybe they'll send you 100,000, or someone else that's has a lot more interaction might get 1 million. So they have the tokens that are secure and the basically cold wallet, but they have a certain amount in their hot wallet to be able to distribute. And it looks like that was what was compromised somehow. Someone was able to hack it and pulled out millions in different social currencies and just dumped them straight onto the market. And so there's been a lot of community discussion in the Discord since like 3 a.m. Still going on. Which is great. The community leads like Whale Shark, as soon as he found out about it, jumped in and basically we're all still kind of waiting for information. Roll recently made a tweet, saying that basically what happened and that they're looking into it. So it was definitely devastating, especially at first. There was definitely messages from creators and platforms that I can totally understand. You put a year of hard work, sweat, love, soul, labor into creating something, and in a minute from one bad actor kind of wipes out your whole at least monetary kind of end of the social tokenomics there. So definitely pretty crazy, but the community support has been amazing. So a lot of those, some of those are already well on the way to recovery. I actually threw out an idea that I'd like to help organize like an event where there can be, we'll do live music, we'll do a rap battle, have artists be able to, donate art pieces or wearables or music NFTs, and have the speakers from these platforms that were affected come and be able to speak, and maybe have some gaming competitions in World or something, and then have everything that's raised basically be split to those projects that were hardest hit. So just kind of threw that out there, and a lot of people were like, that's a great idea, let's do it. So already, just in the last couple hours, I've had, a bunch of messages about people wanting to contribute to that, which is really great.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, security is going to be the sort of, I think, the main issue regarding this crypto revolution, or whatever you want. There's this movement of redefining what it is to exchange goods and services and currencies or whatever. So that is the issue, and it's going to be the issue for the next 20 years, and possibly forever. But especially when we get it legitimized, it's going to be like, that is the issue. And we're going to have like drawbacks like that anyway. But this is like, I think this is just part of the game, in the long run. Yeah, like we can't overstep. We can't say that it's not going to happen. And to say it's going to happen, when it does happen, it kind of legitimizes the whole thing even more in a certain way, because it implies that these NFTs are valuable in social and these social currencies, which to the audience are more sort of like, social currencies, as I've learned very recently, like more is very much this idea that you can that in the future we will be able to through the blockchain we'll be able to log who owns what, and people who say, why can't I just download the JPEG? And it's like, it's not actually about that. It's about ownership and transparent logging and archiving of who owns it. And people say, well, why is that valuable? And then you say, well, YouTube values are also digital social currency. And this is why, and the thing about YouTube views is that people do find YouTube views valuable. So if you understand that, you'll understand why this is valuable. If you understand why a million subscribers is valuable, it's still a digital social currency, but by God, it's valuable. I think Gary Vee uses the idea of like a skin avatar, and I think that's an okay comparison. But like when you actually think about subscribers, views, all the rest of it. And you can even go back to, like we wear branded clothing. We get specialized tequilas if we want to splash out. These are all social currencies. It's just moving it to the digital sphere, which is what is happening anyway with social media, which is undeniable and inevitable. Then we have no problem. And as we're going back to what you're saying, it is just going to be an inevitable outcome of the whole thing. Is security in reliably archiving who owns what and where the money is going to be the biggest problem that this faces, I think.
Yeah, one of the first things I mentioned as well when I found out at like 4 a.m. was like, I was just telling people that, I'm not really shaken by it, and I feel like it was kind of an inevitability.
Yeah.
And something like that, it's going to happen to someone somewhere in this space. And there's a couple other social currency platforms, but Roll is the biggest. And it was just kind of inevitable and almost necessary, because we need to improve the way that these things are done. And in hindsight, it's really easy to say, oh, there should never be this much on a hot wallet, which is true. But until you like have these issues, maybe that's not in the forefront of their minds. So this should bring it there. And it's something that is going to be it's a big bump in the road for some, and maybe others will recover a little faster. But it's something that happens in all walks of life. Credit card hacks and all that. And like you were saying, as far as social currencies and like the YouTube likes, that is exactly social currency. It's just that YouTube monetizes that. And what these social currencies on the blockchain do, they let the person, the creator, the team, the project monetize that. And it really does come down all, the values in the community, the token is a bonus kind of thing. And so, what we're seeing right now is, bounce back because the community has so much support and, sees the value in these artists or projects that, they're willing to just, stick with it no matter what, because we've got a bright future here.
Yeah, and I believe that this extends beyond mere cryptocurrency. Well, not mere cryptocurrency, but just cryptocurrency, because when we talk about decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs, which I'm sure will become I think this sort of way of work and work organization and project planning and goal setting is going to be huge. And you've set up a hip hop DAO, and I've set up a I want to talk to the relevant DAOs that I'm in about it already, but it's not too relevant because it regards my town. And I think I mentioned a couple of podcasts ago with Snacks about the oligarchical control over the creative community in my town, which is Folkestone, Kent, and the fact that there are charity fundraisers done by rich fat cats and artists that are pretentious beyond belief, and they get they'll raise £250,000, and I know 100% that they just dwindle the money and they don't spend it wisely because they're fat cats and they can do that. And I'm creating a Folkestone DAO and we're going to create a website called the Folkestone Creative Archive, which is basically a database of all the creative people. And Folkestone is advertised as an art school and a music town, and there's one venue here, and all the artists are sidelined, besides a couple of notable places which I quite like. And the website would be there for people that don't know about crypto and decentralized autonomous organizations, just people and there'll be a database for people, and there'll be a list of all of the, their portfolio, their contact information, their bio, and who they are as a person. And the DAO would be basically an integration so they can all communicate. And once you have that, anything is possible, I think.
That's awesome.
It's cool, isn't it? And yeah, and I was eventually going to ask, someone who's a bit more knowledgeable on DAOs, maybe such as yourself, how to actually organize these things, though I know that it isn't particularly relevant to what you are interested in. But the whole thing about DAOs, I mean, the primary point of business with other people is communication, and that's why DAOs are going to work so bloody well, because that is the starting point. Even before you have a goal, you need to communicate about the goal. That's why DAOs undercut everything above it, because in a corporate structure, in a traditional corporate structure, you have you have communication under the authority of the centralized people at the top, like the CEOs or whatever, and the people at the bottom don't get, they get paid fuck all or whatever. And the communication is very mediated, it's very inefficient, and people won't be able to
well, and you could bring a great idea, and if that person's having a bad day, it's just shot down, and that's the one chance you ever had. Whereas in a DAO, you can submit a proposal, and everybody with skin in the game gets to vote, depending on how many of the governance tokens they hold. Or and something to I want to mention is that we're working towards DAOs, and for projects now starting or have been in the space for a while. A lot of them do have to start more centralized to build up and then create this, governance token and then bring people in. And so a lot of these DAOs and projects that are working towards DAOs have sort of a roadmap to get there. And at Cypher, we're not a DAO yet, but it's definitely, something that we are looking heavily into and hope to be able to execute that as well, so that everybody that, is participating and has skin in the game would be able to, affect the path. And I mean, we are super open to community input, because we're building it for the people to use, so that's the whole end goal anyways, is to have something for the whole community. So DAOs are very interesting, very complicated to get going. I've had a few conversations recently. Someone tossed out to me, and we're throwing it back and forth. What if you could actually have a smart contract that populated a DAO in a way that you could literally make an NFT, and say you made 100 of them? Well, those 100 would represent the the voting power in the DAO, and those would go out. Maybe it'd be more like you make 1,000, and then it would basically be like a easy like a DAO for dummies, where you don't have to do much. The contract's there, you can plug in some parameters, and then people would be able to spin up DAOs really easy through a smart contract NFT. I don't know if that's even possible, but it could be really interesting to get somebody that really knows this stuff, the idea, because I know it's a lot of crazy work to try and get them organized and set up and spun up. But I mean, we're still in such early days.
Well, we're not even in the beginning yet. That's the way I'm. That's the way I'm conceptualizing it. We are like this. I think it's actually better to think about it as the fetal stages. We are still being created. We are still, it's still being born, and we don't know. And the important thing is that we don't know what the future holds. But that but that's just life, baby. We are literally just. We have to go in with good intentions and good mindset, and just push these things forward. And what's lovely about DAOs is that it's sort of it really kind of sidesteps any political differences that people have, because it's still market based, but it's also community based, and we are sort of transcending this sort of left-right divide. I've sort of noticed. I've written an article about this. I'm going to run it on Medium and Voice soon. But that's what's wonderful about it is we are at the peak of polarization in online communities, and culture, and this offers a way that we can work together, because there are common enemies, and these common enemies we can both agree on. And I think the whole GameStop thing really highlighted that. I think it will be known to highlight it much more than we think in the near future, because it showed that left wingers and right wingers could both work together because they both knew the hedge funds were fucking assholes and manipulating the
I mean,
market.
really, yeah. I mean, that is, we can all agree on who's screwing us over, and we should be voting everyone out and putting DAOs in place to govern stuff. In my opinion, hopefully we'll see that one day.
Yes, I mean, and that's that's the beautiful. That's the beautiful, promising. That's the potential of this technology. I mean, Marjan, who was a brilliant guest on Friday, she had concerns about we had about having this this new horizon with Web 1.0, when initial like counterculture acid heads in the 70s were sort of imagining like the internet as a place where you couldn't be tracked and you could express yourself, and this is true. But Web 2.0 is governed by like corporatocracy and all the rest of it, and we have been given this new horizon here, and we have to be wary this isn't going to just solve all the problems forever. We are going to have to face problems in the future, but we don't really know what those problems are yet, I think.
And there's like, I don't know, maybe it was 4 or 5 months ago when DAOs sort of started getting a little mainstream as far as in crypto adoption. They got really hot, and it seems like everybody was starting a DAO for everything. And probably a lot of them won't come to fruition just because it is so complex right now. But I think a lot of a good portion of those are going to be able to pull it together and really show what a DAO can do and how powerful it is. One that more recently is just come into creation and been on fire is the pizza DAO.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it slipped my mind, but it's a launch day today, isn't it? They started making reservations.
Oh, damn, yeah. No, it's been so crazy.
Yeah, me too, man. I was up all night working on this Folkestone DAO, so like, and we were, and unfortunately we were going to do a live stream for it, but it was such short notice. I was like, okay, let's definitely do a live stream for May the 22nd, and I'll order like some pizza or whatever, and then we'll just and I'll get my partner who's in the Folkestone DAO, and we'll just buy shed tons of pizza, and we will just
awesome.
I'm basically, what I'm going to plan to do is I'm going to get the Zoom link in the stream itself, so people can just hop on when they like, and obviously I can decide who comes in,
right?
And people can just come on and say, yo, there's a pizza just got sold by 5 Bitcoin, a pizza just got sold for 10 Bitcoin, and it's just and yeah, we'll keep going for hours and hours, just like until we need to sleep. So that would be really fun, I think. And
pizza DAO roundtable, nice.
Pizza DAO roundtable, exactly. That's a great way of putting it. But yeah, I mean, your hip hop DAO seems very interesting. I want to contribute, but I don't really know enough about hip hop. I can play hip hop drums, and I've made like a couple of I made like a hip hop track for our grindcore project, which has nothing to do with hip hop.
Nice.
But yeah, but like it sounds very interesting. And
yeah, so I mean, one of the large aspects of Cypher is to try and level the playing field and open up music NFTs to anybody, basically. There's maybe a lot of interest in A-level celebrity artists and stuff, and those people all have access to studios and media teams and all this, but the people that could probably benefit the most from this aren't getting talked about as much airtime, and that's obvious. Celebrities are going to call that attention. But with Cypher, it's basically we call it Automagic Beat Maker, which is the Flowbot 5000, and it's a kind of AI beat machine that pulls from a huge database of samples, and the devs have been amazing putting together a tonal generator engines and stuff to sync these. Yeah, so right, so behind the scenes it's crazy, but on the screen it's a touch of a button, and then this little record spins, and you've created a beat, and you hear that, and you can just hit it to refresh and make a new one and a new one, and each one is its own original, won't be duplicated. And you can have kind of save some in the queue, so you can be like going back, oh, like I like number 4, okay, I'm gonna try another. When you hit one that inspires you, you can then, with one more button, you can just spit your rhymes over that track, review it, and then mint it onto the blockchain. I mean, we're using like OpenSea style lazy minting, so it won't actually be. it won't be minted until somebody purchases it. So the buyer will pay the gas. Basically, you know, when you hit that create button, it's locking it in place, it's putting it into the queue, and then once a purchaser comes along, it's minted, and then, you know, you're going to have resale royalties that you can set from, I believe, 5 to 15%. You know, you can do additions. The artwork is going to be is GAN generated, which is pretty cool too. We may offer, as you know, people kind of get more skin in the game and level up, to be able to do things like bring in your own original album art or things like that. So, you know, a lot of interactivity, a lot of gamification, a way for people to be able to, you know, not have to pay a bunch of gas or have a fancy studio. Really, if you just have a passion for rhyming, you can, you know, maybe make more than you would even being on a streaming service. I mean, definitely make more than you would on a streaming service with just a 1 or 2 sales compared to a year of streams.
You were basically sort of giving money, or maybe better said, like making investments in people just for turning up and making it a thing, and it's a solid investment, especially when you think about things that you're passionate about and things that you want to make DAOs of and things that you think would definitely work for DAOs. It's a solid investment, and that incentive is going to get more and more interesting people joining the DAO. It, like I said, community, and I really don't doubt the existence of a DAO, and even if like Discord were to disappear, the idea is just such a prevalent idea, and it can take a long time to come up with an idea, even if it's simple, but that idea can just change the landscape of how things operate.
Oh yeah, I think, yeah, DAOs are gonna be extremely big in this cultural, artistic, financial just revolution.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's very exciting. Anyway, yeah, and there's a sort of talk of you know, the sort of the bot generations that come into it with the same with pizza as well. You know, like you know, there's a thing you can just create an AI generated pizza just by clicking a button, and obviously, and this is the obvious integration of new technologies to create such products and services and experiences. It's and of course we're at the early stages. You know, we don't know what's going to be the case in a year, let alone 5 years, let alone 10 years. We are just experimenting as creators and people that have just been given a fair amount of power to do what they want and reap the rewards. So and you know, and there is going to be that sort of that resistance of kind of like the uncertainty of like, well, why is this? And I really like, and I don't think our sort of mindset is naive at all, because I think we just have an awareness of what this can do, and how the idea can set forth and put in place like so many other up and coming, more developed, more interesting ideas.
It's hard to quantify, because at this point it is like this wide open idea, and there's just the beginnings being implemented. So yeah, it's barely even laying in the groundwork. There's going to be so much to come. It's crazy. And then, yeah, I mean, another project that I'm super excited about that I'm working with is Libernet, and that's, you know, bringing books to the blockchain. In fact, all literature. So, and that's going to be set up to, you know, hopefully, you know, obviously in these times, you kind of do have to start something with a central team and a core. So generally that starts centralized, but with the aim to decentralize more and more as time goes on, and then be able to step away as the you know, core team of creators and just leave it fully in the hands of the DAO. So, you know, another example of a use case for a DAO to create a whole economy around, you know, literature on the blockchain, and even further, but, you know, people being able to, you know, writers being able to get the same benefits out of NFTs that right now we have visual artists and musicians starting is going to be huge. So if you were able to, you know, instead of maybe have a book on Kindle or, you know, in Amazon and get little bits for that, if you could have a deeper connection with your fans and be able to connect with them more, offer them more, because NFTs unlock so much content and possibilities. And then the value of being able to have a one-of-one or a special cover edition for that super fan, and then another 20 or 50 whatever other editions of the more affordable, so you can, you know, capture value, but also, you know, get your work out there more. And then those resale royalties, and, you know, being able to stake an NFT into a library and loan it out and earn on the book that you bought, instead of just, you know, having this kind of ownership of something that only works on, you know, one device or is in the cloud. And it's not, you know, it's just there's something to be had between the relationship of collecting a book, whether that's digital in this new format, and, you know, having something like on a, you know, your iDevice that's sitting in a cloud and you can read it on your one little screen or a Kindle or something.
I mean, Alex, who's working on it with us, is sort of explained it as like ebooks. Ebooks now are the equivalent of buying a book and wanting to loan it to a friend and not having them be able to leave your front door.
Right. I want you to read this great book, but you've got to really just snuggle up on the couch and not leave it. And no, that doesn't really work. It's not true ownership is the fact, right?
Yes. Wow, it's not true ownership. That's a very interesting way of putting it. And I wanted to say that, like, there's even less reason to be skeptical of books on blockchain, because that's logistically, in terms of this sort of private ownership of digital good commerce or whatever, that's already how it works. It's just the way of creating a book and putting it up, as I've had immense difficulty with, as I've written a book and I don't know what to do with it, just sitting on various computers and clouds, is extremely tough. And also with and to get a book, you know, it's ridiculously complicated, and not complicated, but like extremely difficult to actually seize power and say, okay, I own this book, I can do what I want with it, and I can give it to someone else, and I can exchange it for another NFT in the same way that a library works, hence the name Libernet. And so I initially had the idea that, like, books would definitely kick off more, but when I've recently sort of realized in the face of social currencies in general, it's all going to work in that sense, because we already work like that. It's just the middlemen and the people and the gatekeepers that prevent people from getting what they deserve for it is preventing both creators and consumers from getting what they deserve. And so
absolutely, it can get so much more out of it. And then even if we were just talking about a straight text book, like what you just mentioned is 100% valid, and then only being able to go to, you know, a couple places, basically Amazon, or, you know, maybe a larger other book chain that has, you know, online presence and maybe some brick and mortar in big cities. But to be able to offer all the unlockable content, or, you know, virtual meetups, and, you know, all these other things that just, you know, maybe someone that bought a book gets a secondary, you know, special different ending because they own the NFT, or, you know, one of my fantasies. And some of this came about maybe a year ago. I had Dylan on my Little Scent podcast, and we just rambled for hours, which I love to do with Dylan. And, you know, it somehow led to like, oh, what about choose your own adventure book NFTs with different authors making different endings, and like being able to maybe, like, once you choose, it's like burned in, or maybe you can choose like a certain amount of, you know, we're just going deep into you know, just the ideas. And here we are, like a year later, and it's coming together in a way that is, you know, I think massively going to change the landscape for literature. And eventually, from, you know, scientific white papers to choose your own adventure, to, you know, textbooks, to you know, there's already comic books that are NFTs. You know, there's been some comic books come in.
I think Eric is working on one as well, and I think he's going to mint it as an NFT. And for the audience that doesn't quite understand the terminology, mint just basically means to solidify. You know, it's like minting, except it's digital minting, and with it's all going to be crazy. And I'm going to be very lucky. I'm going to be very excited to create my book on, on the blockchain with as potentially one of the first of the Libernet, and sort of doubling down on this process. And if Libernet does kick off, then like that's that's brilliant for my book. That's pretty, and if my book sells well for Libernet, it's brilliant for Libernet and all the rest of it. So it's just yeah, it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Absolutely. I have a friend, and his dad has started writing more recently. I mean, I known him all my life and gone camping trips with the three of us, and all sorts of stuff, all sorts of crazy adventures. And he started writing recently, and one of his books is actually about me and my friend, his son, but it's like us but turned into characters in like the late 1800s, and like I get shipwrecked and we meet up in like Southern California, and I think we go on like some gold digging adventure, like all this cool stuff. And like he also does other writings, and he's been wanting to kind of publish but not knowing. And so this could be an avenue for anybody with that passion to be able to have a chance without feeling like there's some big gatekeeper, and that even if you do it and you get it up on Amazon, it would never be seen. And so it's exciting to me from the prospects of newfound talent. Same thing with Cypher and the hip hop. We had a little freestyle competition in Meme Force, which is a little Discord server I run, and we just do Twitter meme campaigns from cool projects that want to throw in some rewards for our community for the top memes. And so Cypher sponsored one, and we also had a little rap battle. And the winner of that, which won, like 130 something bucks worth of whale currency, was a first time ever, it was his first time ever getting on the mic and rapping, let alone freestyling. And he is now just super fired up about it, super passionate, and found, a new talent that he didn't even, know he had. So people, maybe be able to find new talents, people that can rekindle what they're passionate about because they weren't able to release their stuff through the standard industry, which just takes everything really and limits your creativity. So super exciting for literature, music, art. So much is happening right now. It's really exciting times.
Yeah, absolutely. There's So we've got so you're currently working on the hip hop DAO, and you're working on the book DAO. Besides sort of just keeping in touch with the information about this role currency, or whatever, is there anything else that particularly excites you, like intrigues you in terms of projects you're working on, or that you're sort of keeping informed about?
I do work with a handful of other projects, actually. I work with the WIP, which is the Work in Progress meetup, which is run through TokenSmart under NFT 42, which also does Avastars and FinFT token minting platform for NFTs. And I've been with the WIP since, it was like a dozen of us from back in the old cent days, just exploring crypto voxels and talking about what we were working on. And it's grown into this huge, the biggest weekly metaverse event. Big sponsors, people from the top platforms and top artists come and speak. So I'm on the WIP crew and I get to help with that weekly. I do a show in TokenSmart on Mondays, which is actually the TokenSmart podcast, which generally covers a lot of both kind of what went on at the WIP that week and then also general news. So I work with TokenSmart and then also with Layer 1 Crypto, Lad City. So they have the Lad social token and Layer 1 Crypto and NFT Live on YouTube. So I do a easy street show over in Lad City, and I bring on different guests and interview them, and that's every Thursday.
Fantastic.
And then the rap battles, and then I work with Collectors Hub, which is a place where you can for free just hook up your Web3 wallet, and it will basically pull from the OpenSea API data and recognize basically all just art NFTs. So not gaming and other types of NFTs. It's just going to pick up, your art NFTs, and you can organize them, drag and drop them into, little collections and name them and stuff like that. And then Meme Force, which I mentioned, basically run the Meme Force as well. So a lot of different spots, and I've been, involved with Whale since the very beginning, and a handful of other, friends, artists, servers and stuff. So I am now pretty much, I've been saying my roster is full. Like I've, come onto a couple of projects more recently, and now it's just amazing. And then Clubhouse, of course, how could we not mention Clubhouse? Because I've been on Clubhouse now, that's my new, like, after midnight to 3 or 4 a.m. session, which used to be partially sleep, is now over there because there's so much going on. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've been blessed to be able to be pulled up on stages and get to talk with MC Hammer and, people like that are just, it's phenomenal to see the people with big followings. I mean, there's like John Laguerre or whatever from T-Mobile's and talking in rooms, and you've got MC Hammer, and you've got Blau and Beeple, and just amazing caliber of people that are willing to just hang out and talk about this stuff, educate, and really it's another great asset for our community, and I'll be doing shows there about music on the blockchain and literature on the blockchain and all that good stuff too. So really, crazy. I mean, crazy times. There's just a tidal wave of interest, which is great.
Yeah, it's in Clubhouse is something that I'm going to actually guess on more, and then I think I'm agreeing with you that I'll be pretty full because I've with the Libernet, and I want to contribute to Pizza DAO in some way. I've written a jingle for like a lovely Italian sort of mafia jingle with like an accordion with an accordion MIDI. Yeah, I'll send it to you. And
dude,
yeah, it's very fun. It's very fun sounding, and I need to and I've got and I'm gonna put it through. And also I've got my band that that we're very happy about and we're working on. And then we've got the Folkestone DAO, and then obviously after that I've got like my solo music and my second book. So and with everything, with all the other little details, such as me helping Dylan with writing, because I've written the preface for his crypto book, which is going to be which is very exciting, and I also need to help him with the white paper at some point. I think I'm pretty full now.
Yeah, it's amazing because having been in the space for a few years and having, I started out on Cent, which was back in the day a pretty small, tight-knit community for quite a while. And a lot of, artists and musicians and stuff that were early in the space happened to migrate there because it was just a positive, great place to share and get feedback and grow community. So a lot of us are, still in it. Most of us are either, keeping in touch or collaborating a little here and there, which is really cool. But what's also really cool is everybody's kind of branched out and is like working on these amazing different projects. And so it's crazy to see like a lot of us, we're just kind of, working for free and doing this, and it's all out of passion, and then wind up getting on a really cool project that can, hey, now it can, I'm making a little bit of my, making a little side hustle doing what I love, and then that grows, and hopefully these things really take off, and we'll be like earning a living doing things we actually love and are passionate about, and bringing other people into the fold and spreading love.
Exactly. I mean, and I was sort of working my ass off on my own with no like profitable benefit for 2 years. So it's now this is and I'm glad I did. I spent a year of that working hard on sort of making my podcast as good as they could be, and that's and I mean with the Folkestone Creative Archive, which is sort of mine and Sydney's sort of a project regarding sort of destabilizing the oligarchy of Folkestone's creative structure. I initially was 2 years ago I had the idea, and I was looking for funding in some way because I had the I wanted to sort of do this on my own, which is sort of naive of me, and I realized I could obviously have other people working on it with me, but the funding isn't there, and people and it wasn't even that it was bad, it was that it didn't fall into a category that the funders had, which is just absolutely nonsensical, because you're not going to if you're going to have specific projects for fundraisers, then you're going to miss all the good ones because they're the ones you haven't categorized yet.
Exactly. So, like, no, we don't want to grow. We're just going to keep banging our head against this wall over here while you all do, this new amazing thing.
And I mean, I mean, if you're interested, if you're interested in getting involved, I will send. We're going to we've created the structure for the Discord last night, and I can happily put you in, and you can just get involved as much as you can. It doesn't have to be at all. Just to sort of like have a look and see see what it is, you know. And it's not, you know, it's not this sort of, the thing about this DAO is it's not this worldwide sort of movement where we're all going to help everyone a little bit. I'm just trying to really focus on this town and creating its structure. And that's going to be incentive to basically get this town, just shake it up and be like, look, you are all creatives and you are all waiting for something to happen because you're like, oh, should we I want to do a gig, and there's someone like, oh, I wish we could, you know. And it's just like, it's all, you know, it's a bit silly, and
right, all hodgepodge. I mean, that's so
hodgepodge.
awesome, because I kind of, it was one of those, like, you know, falling asleep 4 a.m. epiphanies that you, like, you know, have and then kind of fades away, and you just brought it back with, and I was thinking about, God, the, you know, the local grassroots level usages of DAOs could be amazing, because then maybe eventually they can kind of form these connections to the other DAOs, and then you could form like a super DAO.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you could do that for everything from like the, you know, the farmers markets to the, you know, textiles to the everything, right? That would just give everybody, cut out that middleman bullshit, and get everybody more direct lines to, you know, their fans or their you know, supporters or purchasers, or, you know, in so many ways.
And I mean,
that's huge.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks. I mean, and there's literally nothing to say that there aren't going to be serious problems we're going to have to face, and problems that we can't forecast and that we're not aware of yet. But there's problems with everything, and there's a problem happening right now, and there's the fact that I want to do gigs, and I want to see exhibitions, and I want to see Folkestone be an art school and be a music town, with you know, with much less to show for it than it could. So that's, and I'm obviously like completely accepting of the fact that we're going to run into problems, and maybe, you know, and ones that I can think of as like security and management and you know, legal issues maybe later down the line, if we're just a bunch of lurkers on the internet just typing away and planning things. I mean, that's got to be made illegal in some way. So I know that there's going to be problems. I mean, not only with this but other things. But you raised something very interesting about local DAOs, and this is exactly what I'm thinking. And me and Sydney, you know, my friend and partner, we were just saying, like, well, when we do that, why wouldn't there be a Margate DAO? Why wouldn't there be a Dover DAO? Why wouldn't there be a Canterbury DAO, an Ashford DAO? And then what if there's a super DAO that connects all of them into Kent? And you know, and it's been a long time coming, and you know, yeah.
I mean, it's similar to having like a union, but without the issues of the union people at the top screwing over all the union people at the bottom, right? You know, because it's actually decentralized and more democratized. So it just makes so much sense. That's awesome that you're kicking that off. And yeah, that, you know, if that can be a success, and granted, there'll be problems and, you know, in fighting and, you know, that stuff gets worked out, but if it can, you know, be a successful example, that would be so great to be able to say, okay, we have made something that, you know, it works, we got our problems, but it works. And then other people can take that and adapt that to their town or their county, and do the same, and kind of, you know, learn from your mistakes and improve. And that's how we're going to get this done.
Exactly. And I'm just so proud of our workflow, because it was, okay, so it's Sunday now, so it was Saturday morning at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and Sydney basically just sprung the idea onto me and said, you know, what about this idea? And I was just and he completely turned me around in like 10 minutes. I was like, actually, you're right, we could do this, and we could also create a DAO as well as a website for people that aren't so tech savvy and don't know Discord or whatever the website, the chat website would be. And within 24 hours, we had planned it out. We had the vision, we had the goal, we had written the mission statement, written the structure of the Discord, and written all the little sub chat introductions in the Discord. And we did all that in 24 hours. And I was just like, that's crazy.
Nice.
And because we wanted to, you know, and we were passionate about it, and we didn't get any money for it, but like, but you're going to work more efficiently if you're passionate about it. Like, of course you are. And there are things, and there are things out there that you can do and be passionate about. It's the community, you know, and we just haven't we haven't quite got the tools and proverbial equipment necessary yet.
Yeah, it hasn't, that ideal hasn't been embraced, you know, since, you know, maybe time immemorial, but at least like the industrial age and whatnot. So it's amazing. It's a different idea for people to even grasp that, you know, anything that you are passionate about right now, especially with the interest in the space booming and, you know, all the all-time highs and everything, you know, literally just about anything you could think of that you actually love to do, you could find a way to do it, using, you know, this blockchain technology or DAOs and NFTs, and create something where you're gonna actually profit more, both for being happy, but also for doing, you know, for monetarily, for being able to have access, you know, to this new financial system. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And maybe this will inspire people in their towns, if they think there's a community that's being underrepresented, to give it a try. I mean, I will put the links to Pizza DAO, and is Cypher public? Is that a public DAO at the moment, or is it
no, so
no,
like I had mentioned, we're you know, we're really just in very early days.
You're building, yes, okay, yeah.
Alpha demonstration was this week. We're working towards releasing the beta of the site, and then a mobile app. And basically, you know, long-term vision is to be able to spin it into a DAO, and so that all the people that, you know, have skin in the game and have you know, are participating would be able to, you know, help form and make those decisions to how it grows and where it goes, and, you know, how the you know, financials get spread out. I mean, it's, you know, it's really something that we're building just for the creators and the fans, you know. So hopefully, you know, it can be a success and grow and wind up changing a lot of lives and giving people, you know, the freedom to pursue their passions in music. You know, we're starting with hip hop rap, but we're going to be adding more genres too. So we're really excited about that. It's just kind of, it's, you know, we're just at the very beginning, and we've got a lot of ideas, and it's amazing to see the support. You know, we had Big Nuck, who's pretty big, come and spit some awesome rhymes over the Cypher beats, the Flowbot beats, and, you know, just like had just great things to say about it, and is come on and as an advisor. So I think it's totally doable. I think we're gonna, you know, we're gonna pull something off. And yeah, I think there is in every kind of area of the arts, and then extending to, you know, other areas, to, you know, even like, you know, we brought up the farmers markets, to agriculture. Like there's so many areas where this could be implemented in some form or another.
In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be interviewing, hopefully, I mean, I don't want to confirm it in case they can't make it, but I'm going to be interviewing this network that's going to connect blockchain and environment in eco fuel and in renewable energy, and that's going to be very exciting, and I'm very excited to learn more. Very excited to learn more about it. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, there's what was it? That just kind of sprang something in my head, and then it flittered away. But yeah, there's so much great charity work being done too. So just the other day, let's see, it was at the Whip on Thursday. Love Handles, who had done some smaller charity NFTs that were providing food, you know, to people that were without access to food, had got together with Rizzle and like Sandy Mouse and Trizlet, and they all designed an NFT on wax that was, you know, affordable, maybe $6 to like the fancy one, maybe $20 or something, so that more people could participate, as well as a lot of money had made too on the Ethereum blockchain, and the proceeds from these NFTs are going directly to feed people in need. So, you know, one small example of like what we can do here. And, you know, many artists are donating part of their proceeds to amazing foundations, or to reduce, you know, the imprint of, you know, the
carbon emissions
and all that from carbon emissions and all that from, you know, just our general lives, as well as, you know, generating cryptocurrencies and things like that use, you know, some of them use a lot of power. So you know, it's amazing to see where, you know, it's people are saying is basically the limit is your imagination, and I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And my only thought is, you know, this is, you know, of how much of a good thing this is is what are going to be the pushbacks and the problems that we're going to face. And this is, I think this is going to have to be like a very big question on people's minds, not to reduce their optimism and ambition and all, you know, and all the rest of it. Not at all. It's just this is, you know, this is such a potent idea, like a holism of ideas that we you know, it ensure security and see where things could go wrong, if they could, and which is difficult to sort of think about right now, because it's a very powerful idea, and ideas can't really, you know, you can't really like you can't really take down an idea. It's
Yeah.
That's what's and you know, that's what's so interesting about it. So it's that's going to be something I'll probably think about for a while.
It is very, you know, powerful. So I think we'll see a variety of forms of pushback, like we already see in some countries. Totally illegal to use cryptocurrencies. There's artists there that are reaching out on places like Clubhouse to say, hey, and you know, in my country, I'm not allowed to use blockchain or MetaMask or, you know, wallet. How do I make an NFT and get in on this? And, you know, people are like setting up like, you know, computers in the States that they can remote access to be, you know, and it's just like, there's gonna be pushback. There's gonna be workarounds. There's gonna be situations without workarounds that we have to really, you know, fight for, whether it's legally or, you know, with our ideas and creativity. You know, it's definitely not just a nice cure-all, but it's very exciting to have the opportunities. And I do think it's really important to point out the you know, any points of failure or possible issues, and always hammering down on people's security and you know, doing your research, because there's so many scams out there, whether you're on Discord or Telegram or Twitter or, you know, anywhere people are, you know, like we saw with the roll hack today. Unfortunately, somebody basically attacked a huge community of struggling artists and stole millions of dollars from them. And it's just like, God, it hurts. But, you know, we're already like working to you know, set it right. So yeah, there's definitely going to be bumps in the road, and hopefully we can, you know, I mean, I definitely think we can overcome and prevail and figure out workarounds and solutions.
And it will teach us, you know, this you know, these sorts of things are good examples of like, oh, this can happen, and it's good it happens now and not in 5 years. So
totally.
So yeah, perfect. We've been on for about an hour and 10 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to plug, Yeezy? Like something that you're promoting, something that you want me to put in the description, anything like that?
I would just, you know, I definitely say check out Cypher. You know, we just launched the alpha. We're going to be pushing the beta soon. It's a lot of fun for both.
Is that the app?
That's hip hop.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be Web3 connected. So Cypher.media, and there will be a, you know, a mobile app is in the works as well. You know, keep your eye and ear out for Libernet. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to be doing exciting things soon. Meme Force, if you like memes or you want to get into them and maybe win, you know, some social currency or some ETH or some NFTs, that's a great one. Of course, the whip, you've got to come to the whip in crypto voxels, or at least in Token Smart. And then I guess lastly would be, you know, check out Lad City. Some really great YouTube content on like NFT live covers, you know, DeFi gaming and artists and all sorts of stuff. And the layer one is more like, you know, exchanges and market and what's going on there. But there's great stuff over there. We do music shows. We do all sorts of games. They had a poker game yesterday it was. And so, yeah, you know, all those communities. Basically, my Twitter DMs are open. If you want to, you know, follow me and hit me up questions. I am getting a lot of people that are new to the space into kind of fit them in where I think they can benefit best, and give them some, you know, options, and invite them to some different communities where there's different resources. So, you know, I'm definitely, you know, always down to try and help out anybody coming into the space, or, you know, collaborations. My time is tight now, but I always take time for, you know, helping people out when I can.
That's wonderful. And because I've been on this for far less time than you, but anything people would like to sort of comment on in terms of my opinions and my forecast and stuff, just I'll put my Twitter in the description as well. So Thanks very much for
Oh, and
watching it. Oh, go on.
do shoot me a link to that server. My Discord is full to 100, but I'll try and find something to wiggle out of, because I would love to, or shoot me documentation. I would love to, be able to know more about what you're doing with the DAO, and at least give you some feedback and
thanks
stuff
so
like
much.
that.
I really appreciate that. So we are the Libernet. To conclude, we attempt to marry books and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to create a digital and universal library that's accessible for everyone. And thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please leave a comment to see what you'd like more of, or your just general feedback. And thanks so much, Easy, for joining us. And
Thanks so much for having me, man. Really great talking.
Thanks so much.
Time flew by.
Time flies by when you're on these things. And I'll probably invite you back on in the next few weeks to see how things are going. So brilliant. Thanks so much, Easy. And take it easy, everyone. Have a great week have a great week tomorrow. Lovely, lovely. Take it easy.